All right, welcome back, and let's us tackle question 23. All right, this year, medical school is much harder than you expected. Course material has become more challenging to understand, and you are having difficulty balancing your schoolwork and your personal life. Completing coursework and preparing for exams is consuming more of your free time than ever before. In casual conversations, other students are saying that they are facing similar difficulties. All right, so what's the main problem here that we need to address? The main problem is that you and your classmates are having difficulty balancing increasingly challenging coursework, with your personal life. All right. 23.1. This problem reminds me of other, even like question 1 where we had a conflict of responsibilities. We had our required lab and then our optional volunteering opportunity. This has some parallels to that question and in other similar conflict of responsibility questions. But one important caveat is that there isn't one more important and one clearly more important activity here that are in conflict, right? Your personal life is very, very important. Your coursework is very, very important. So, they're more or less on equal footing. There's not like one specific required activity or required responsibility. So, but nonetheless, it still has similar resonance to those questions, and it's going to be important to try to find some balance and some compromise here. All right. Response number 1. Work with classmates to create a forum to discuss how to balance schoolwork and personal life. All right. So, let's ask. We can ask a few different questions. One is, are you fulfilling your responsibilities, right? And that's not as relevant here as it is in other scenarios where we have a conflict of responsibilities. But I think this second question here is really, really important. Are you taking steps to resolve or address the main problem? Very clearly, we are, right? Our problem is that we're having difficulty balancing our coursework and personal life. So this is tackling that issue very head on, right? Because if we understand how to balance schoolwork and personal life, or at least create a forum, we can maybe achieve that goal a little bit easier. So that's going to be a 3 or a 4. How do we differentiate a 3 and a 4? Well, compromise. There's not too much of a compromise here, but very importantly, how are you impacting any relevant stakeholders? One other relevant stakeholder that was mentioned is our other classmates, right, who are having similar difficulties as us. Importantly, this response addresses not only our difficulties, but that of our other classmates, right? Furthermore, we are being very open in conversation by holding a forum, and this is a very tangible and an actionable step, right? All that leads us to say very confidently that this is a very effective answer, right? This will very likely improve the situation of us having difficulty finding balance. And it will help other students who are facing similar problems, which is also, part of the main problem here that we need to address. So that's going to be a 4. All right. 23.2. Seek suggestions from more senior students for balancing your schoolwork and personal life. All right. Well, let's ask, are we taking steps to address the main problem here? Very clearly we are, right? Often asking for help can be seen as a very important and effective step. Importantly, though, besides that, we put this question right here in, and we've touched on this topic quite a few times now, but let's just revisit it once again. If you are asking for feedback/advice, who are you asking it from, right? Now, why is that such an important question? Well, we have seen often that the AAMC has this bias to where advice from peers and other students are often not as effective as advice from advisors or mentors or school administration. And that bias has been seen pretty reliably on this practice exam. Now, does that mean this will always be the case? No, right? And don't memorize that fact that peers are often looked at as less, reliable sources of advice than mentors. Don't memorize that. But let's try to understand why that's the case. Well, it's because what differentiates a 3 and a 4, right, is their ability, their probability, and to what degree they will improve the situation. That's what differentiates a 3 and a 4. Now, why would mentors and advisors and hospital administration, school administration be more likely to be rated when you're asking for advice? Why would they be more likely to be given a 4 than peers? Well, those parties often have greater influence, can have greater influence over our situation, right? They can have more resources, more steps, and also, they might be more reliable, and the question might differentiate, the response might identify whether or not they are reliable. But often mentors, advisors are seen as more reliable, right? And with the fact that they have more ability to impact your situation, going to them, it's going to often mean that it's more likely to improve the situation. For this question, we don't know, just because they're more senior students doesn't mean that they have, better insight into questions of balance. There's nothing in this question SEM that would identify that would be true, and they would be the right people to go to that would have the answers. All this kind of points us towards this will be an effective response, right? And we have seen this multiple times during the test that peers and students just are less likely to improve the situation than faculty or mentors or administration. All right, 23.3. Prioritize your schoolwork and make time for your personal life after you've met your obligations. All right, so let's ask, are we addressing the conflict? Are we addressing the main problem? Are we taking steps to address the main problem here? Well, to some degree we are, right? We're coming up with a solution. Our solution is to prioritize our schoolwork. But very clearly we are prioritizing one over the other, right? We're not really doing better. We're not really finding more balance. We are instead very clearly just prioritizing one, our schoolwork over our personal life. But, we are coming to some solution. I'm going to put this into a 2 or 3. Right? It has some good things, it has some bad things. Now, how do we differentiate between a 2 and a 3? Well, we are taking personal responsibility. Very importantly, are we offering a solution to the main problem, right? Are we finding a way to create more balance? Because that's what we're looking for. Here, we are clearly not doing that, right? We're not trying to find a way to have more balance. We are just picking one of our conflicting responsibilities over the other. In addition to that, what is the likelihood of causing a problem? Well, there's definitely a likelihood of causing a problem here, right? Because your personal life will be impacted, and it's going to be, hard to, hard on your physical health, maybe on your mental health, just because, you're prioritizing your schoolwork over your personal life. Not only are we not finding a solution that will have more balance, but this will also lead to problems down the road, potentially lead to problems down the road. So we can say confidently this will be a 2, an ineffective answer. All right. 23.4. Ask a trusted faculty member for advice on managing school-related and personal responsibilities. All right, this is a very good contrast to 23.2, right? What we just talked about. Asking for advice, often, addressing the problem. Very clearly, we're addressing the problem, trying to take, at least we're taking steps to address the problem. And asking for advice is often a good step. Now, the big differentiator here between this and 23.2 was who we're asking the advice from. And here we're asking a trusted faculty member. And because of this wording, because they're a faculty member, right, and because it's also clear that they're trusted, we can be confident that the AAMC views this person as someone who can give us positive advice and will be very likely, or have a high chance to positively impact our situation, right? To help us address this conflict and the main problem. So it will be a 4 answer. And it's just the degree to which they can offer that. In 23.2, we just didn't have enough evidence for them being able to do that to such a high degree as we do for 23.4. All right, 23.5. All right, make a schedule that limits the amount of time you spend studying each day. Okay, so this reminds me of the third response, right? 23.3. This reminds me very strongly of that. But instead of prioritizing our schoolwork, we are prioritizing our personal life and limiting the amount of time we can spend studying each day. So, we're offering some solution, but once again, we're not trying to find more balance, right? We're clearly prioritizing one over the other. This is going to be a 2 or 3. And very similarly, right, we're not offering a solution that will give us more balance, right? We're prioritizing one over the other. Also, this could cause a problem because, we are told that coursework has become more challenging. And if we limit the time we can spend studying each day, this might have negative impacts on our school life. So this will be a 2 response. Very similar to 23.2 in that we're not finding more balance, and that's the solution that will address the main problem. All right, there we go. That was question 23. And like I say at the end of every video, please like and comment and subscribe if you can, and share with anyone who you think would benefit and could benefit from this series. We are close to being done, so I hope everyone is doing well. And if you have a question, put it in the comments. I'll be more than happy to respond. And I will see you all for question 24.